Okay, I need to tell you something a little embarrassing. For a really long time, I thought I was okay with money. Not great, not saving a ton, but okay. Like I wasn't in debt, I paid my bills, I treated myself sometimes. I figured that's just what life costs. And then 90 days ago, I did something I'd been putting off for years. I wrote down every single dollar I spent. Not in a spreadsheet with fancy formulas, just me, a notes app on my phone, and a rule. Every time money leaves my account, coffee, gas, Uber, groceries, random Amazon stuff, I write it down. That day, no skipping. 90 days, every dollar. And what I found, I genuinely wasn't ready for. Not because the number was huge, but because of where it was going. Because the things draining my money every month weren't the big stuff. Rent, utilities, the things I actually planned for. It was 100 other tiny things I'd forgotten about completely. And here's the part that really got me. When I added it all up and ran one simple calculation, I'll show you exactly what that calculation is in a few minutes, I realized I had let almost $14,000 slip through my hands in the past year, quietly, without noticing, without making one single bad decision. $14,000. If you've ever felt like your paycheck disappears and you don't know where it goes, stick with me, because I'm going to show you exactly what I found. And more importantly, I'm going to show you the one thing I did about it that's already changed everything. Why I started doing this and why you should too. So let me back up. Because I didn't start tracking my spending because I'm organized or disciplined. I really am not. I started because of a conversation that bothered me. A friend of mine, same age, similar salary, mentioned she'd put away $11,000 last year. Just quietly, steadily, without making a big deal of it. And I remember sitting there thinking, how? We make roughly the same money. How does she have $11,000 and I have whatever I have? And I couldn't answer that question. Not because I was bad with money, but because I genuinely didn't know where my money was going. I just assumed it was going to the right places. Here's the thing about that assumption. It's the most expensive assumption you can make. See, most of us have a rough idea of our big expenses. Rent, car payment, groceries. We feel like we've accounted for those. But there's this whole other category, the stuff that comes out in small amounts constantly, invisibly, and we never add it up. Because adding it up would be uncomfortable. Food delivery apps, streaming subscriptions, not just one, like 4 or 5, a gym membership you've used 3 times, subscription boxes, extended warranties, convenience fees, just this once purchases that happen every single week. Individually, none of these feel like a big deal. $5 here, $15 there, $12.99 a month for something you barely use. But here's what I found when I actually looked. I had subscriptions I'd completely forgotten about. Like, completely. One of them I hadn't used in 8 months, and it was still charging me $18 a month. I'd paid $144 for literally nothing. And I know what you might be thinking. Okay, but that's just a subscription. That's not a real money problem. And you're right, one subscription isn't. But when you add up every tiny leak, every forgotten charge, every convenience purchase, that's where the money went. That's where my $14,000 went. And I only know that because I tracked it for 90 days, every single dollar. Let me show you what I actually found. The 5 things that shocked me most. All right, I'm going to walk you through the 5 things that genuinely shocked me. Not because they're dramatic, but because they were so quiet, so easy to miss. Number 1, food delivery. $847 in 1 month. 1 month, $847 on food delivery. And when I saw that, my first instinct was to argue with the number. I thought that has to be a mistake. But it wasn't. It was Uber Eats on a Tuesday because I was tired, DoorDash on a Sunday because I didn't feel like cooking, a lunch order here, a late-night snack there, all reasonable in the moment, all completely forgotten about by the time the statement came. The delivery fees alone, just the fees, not the food, were $94 that month. I paid $94 for the privilege of being too lazy to drive somewhere. I'm not saying don't order food, I still do, but knowing the number changed how I felt about clicking that button. Number 2, subscriptions I forgot I had. $187 a month. $187 a month. That's $2,244 a year on subscriptions. And here's what's wild. I only actually used 4 of them regularly. The other 6 were just running like a faucet no one turned off. There was a meditation app I downloaded during a stressful week 2 years ago. There was a news service I signed up for a free trial and never canceled. There was a cloud storage plan I doubled up by accident. 6 subscriptions, 0 usage. $2,000 a year, gone. Number 3, just this once purchases. $340 a month. This one is the sneaky one. This is the category that's the hardest to see coming. A just this once purchase is anything you buy in the moment because it feels small and justified. A new phone case, an Amazon add-on, a candle, a snack at the gas station, a random item you saw in an ad that seemed useful. None of these feel like decisions. They feel like nothing. And that's exactly why they add up to so much. $340 a month is over $4,000 a year from purchases I don't even remember making. Number 4, the opportunity cost. Okay, here's the part that really hit me, and I want you to stay with me here because this is the most important number of all. Opportunity cost just means what could this money have done instead? Think of it like a road trip. You can either drive to your destination or sit in a parking lot with the engine running. The gas costs the same either way, but one of them actually gets you somewhere. If I'd invested that $1,178 a month, the subscription money, the delivery fees, the forgotten charges, instead of spending it invisibly, here's what would have happened. Over 10 years at the stock market's historical average return of around 10%, that money would have grown to over $240,000. I didn't get a raise. I didn't start a side hustle. I didn't change my life. I just looked at where my money was already going and pointed some of it in a better direction. That's it. That's the whole story. Remember that friend I mentioned at the beginning? The one who'd saved $11,000 in a year and I couldn't figure out how? I asked her, and she didn't have a secret strategy. She didn't make more money than me. She just knew where her money was going. That was it. She knew and I didn't. 90 days of tracking didn't make me rich, but it gave me something that feels way more valuable than a number in an account. It gave me control. For the first time in my adult life, I actually know where my money is going, and I get to decide if that's where I want it to go. I want that for you too. So here's what I'm asking. Not to subscribe, not to like the video. Just this. Open your Notes app tonight. Write down every dollar you spend for the next 7 days. Just 1 week. See what you find, and then come back and drop a comment. Tell me the one thing that surprised you most. I read every single one, and I think you're going to surprise yourself. The money was always there. You just couldn't see it yet. Now you can.